Calan Gaeaf hapus pawb. Happy Halloween, everyone. So, today I'm going to tell you about some Welsh Halloween traditions. So, Calan Gaeaf, or Halloween, actually falls on the 1st of November, which is the first day of winter. Nos Calan Gaeaf, which is Halloween night, falls on the 31st, so when this video is coming out. It is a harvest festival, and it traditionally coincides with the slaughter of the last of the livestock and the reaping of all the winter foods. And there's some very fun traditions that surround this time of year. So, to start us off with our traditions, we have the harvest mare. So, when the last corn of the season was harvested, the workers would leave some stalks uncut. There would be a game to see who could successfully reap them. The stalks were then twisted into what was called the harvest mare, so the last of the stalks that were reaped. The successful reaper places the harvest mare into his clothes and tries to sneak it into the house where all the women of the village would work on a huge feast. The reaper who successfully snuck it in would be given beer and a place of honour at the feast table, and the harvest mare would be hung over the hearth. But if the farmer failed, he was mocked relentlessly by all of his friends. But the big event of the evening would be the village bonfire. There would be a huge fire lit in the village, and each person would write their name on a rock and place it either in or around the fire. When the fire dies out, villagers start to head home. The next day, the dancers would check the rocks, and a missing rock would be a death omen. This is called the Colsath. Or Colcath. Not sure how you pronounce that, sorry. And speaking of the fire burning out, there would be in North Wales a tale of the Guta, which would be the black sow without a tail, it was used to especially scare children so they would come home before it got dark. You would run home after the fire burned out so the black sow doesn't come out of the darkness and eat your soul. In South Wales, there was a similar tradition, perhaps the sister, the lady in white. Some stories say that she's headless. She lures villagers to their death by asking for help or offering treats and treasures. But a lot of the Welsh traditions surround divination. Now, we all know the story of Samhain, which is the Irish Halloween, or the tradition before Halloween. It predates Halloween. It was the traditional Halloween. So we all know the story of Samhain and how it is about ancestor worship and liminal spaces. And Wales has similar beliefs, not surprisingly to anyone, considering we are sisters, Ireland and Wales. But we tend to focus more on divination. So Welsh boys were told to cut 10 leaves of ivy. They would throw one away and hide the other 9 underneath their pillows. And then they would go to sleep. Doing so enabled the boys to see into their future in their sleep, but if they put their hands underneath their pillow and touched the ivy, they would see witches and hags. Similarly, Welsh girls were told to grow a rose over the summer in the shape of a large hoop. They would go through the hoop circle 3 times and then cut a rose, place the rosebud underneath their pillow, and that also enabled them to see into the future. No witches or hags for them, unfortunately. Divination, however, was not just relegated to the younger people. Unmarried women would be told to darken their rooms during Nos Calan Gaeaf and look into the mirror and try to divine what they see. If a skull appears into the mirror, she will die within a year. And if she sees a man's face, that's the face of her future husband. And if she sees nothing at all, she is to peel an apple and throw the peeled skin over her shoulder, and if the apple comes out in the shape of an initial, that would be the initial of her husband. Another interesting divination custom was to go up to the village church, and you would, at midnight, run around the church 3 times and then appear through the keyhole at midnight. And the faces of those destined to die within the next year would appear in the keyhole inside the church before you. So as you can see, predicting the future was customary. However, that doesn't mean to say that there were not other traditions. So, for example, You would avoid churchyards and crossroads because of lingering spirits. And Nos Calan Gaeaf is heavily associated with Annwn, which is the Welsh otherworld. If you would like a video on that, please do let me know. I would love to make a video on Annwn. But just as a glance over, Annwn is, as I said, the Welsh otherworld, and during Nos Calan Gaeaf, it is said that the veil between Annwn and our world is much thinner. You have probably heard that the veil between the living and the dead is very thin on Halloween from a lot of different traditions. We have much the same tradition. So Annwn is much closer to us. We can touch it a lot more easily. Perhaps that is why we can divine. Another funny tradition is early trick-or-treating. Perhaps. Men would dress in rags or women's clothing and go door to door scaring people for treats or money. Then they go to the tavern with their money and drink it all away. They were called the gwrachod. And gwrach is the Welsh word for witch. And of course the traditional pumpkin carving, except we didn't have pumpkins because they are not native to the UK. So as you've probably seen old English or Irish pumpkins, they were turnips. We had much the same, but we would do it in a way, and I'm not sure if other places have this tradition, if it's just Welsh only, but we would carve them in the traditional jack-o'-lantern style, as you're all aware, place them on the side of the road to absolutely scare the living daylights out of any passers-by. So that is our Welsh traditions with trick-or-treating. As you can see, not trick-or-treating, Halloween, or Nos Calan Gaeaf. As you can see, it is very divination focused, a lot less ancestor worship, but I have always loved Halloween, always. Growing up, my mum was not a fan, so she did a little bit, but we didn't do much stuff to do with Halloween. These days, I love it. I've not long got home from work and I have had ridiculous glittery stickers all over my face all day to celebrate Halloween. I love Halloween. I always loved carving pumpkins. I like a good Halloween party. I like a good costume dress up. I was going to make a costume this year, but I left it far too late, as I'm sure a lot of DIYers can confirm that this is a common occurrence with us. I will often host a supper, just me and my husband and my little cat, where we will just sit in silence. And I know that ancestor worship is very common in the witchcraft community around this time of year, but I have never really done it this time of year. The one person I would want to honour is my mum, and as I said, she did not like Halloween. She loved Christmas. And so it makes a lot more sense to do ancestor worship around Christmas for her. But I do light a candle in the window for any lost souls looking for a way home. Not my home, do not worry. I do not invite them in. I just allow them some light to pass by. You'd be hard pressed to find a person in Wales who is not a little bit superstitious, even if we don't like to talk about it. We are quite a superstitious people, even though we are a heavily Christianised country. Let's just say old habits die hard. Anyway, Calan Gaeaf hapus pawb. I hope you all have a wonderful Halloween. Please do let me know if you want the Annwn video. I would love to make it. And enjoy your spooky night.